This program is partially supported by a grant from the Illinois Arts Council Agency, a state agency, the National Endowment for the Arts. By the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and by viewers like you. Thank you. Hi, I'm Becky Cramblit. Welcome to this edition of State of the Arts. We all watch movies and music videos without giving much thought to what goes into creating them. You need a good idea, you need actors, props, the right location, lots of equipment. Well, to learn more, we sat down with owners of Quincy's Table 16 Productions, Chris and Victoria Kelley. Here's what they told us. Chris, let's start with you. You founded Table 16 Productions, correct? You got the ball rolling?
Yes.
Kind of tell me how that happened.
Kind of by accident. My friend and I would always go to Steak and Shake. This is back when Steak and Shake in Quincy was open 24/7. And it's back when I used to smoke too. I kind of gave that up because I'm health conscious now.
I've heard.
But we would go there late night, you know, right about the time when the bar crowd started stumbling in at 1 a.m. And we would sit at the same table every time.
Pre-me. This isn't. This
Right,
is before.
right.
This is before she was ever a magical glint in my horizon. And we would talk about movies and movie ideas. And I said, you know, if we ever start a company, we have to call it Table 16 Productions because that's the table we sat at.
That was
and
my
I
next
said,
question.
Table 16, that's where the magic happens.
That's awesome. So from there, where did you go from there?
Well, we made a lot of it was more of like a joke to have Table 16 Productions because, you know, we'd see movies and it would say, you know, such and such Productions presents a Chris Kelley film or whatever. And I said, I gotta have that for my short films, even though I don't know what it means yet. But then as it got to where we decided to do it more full time, I said, well, we gotta keep calling it Table 16. So we took it full time in 2005 and we never looked back.
Take me through the process because you do everything. I mean, the idea, the storyline, the shooting. How do you put all that
It's
together?
a one-man show.
Well, I don't know how to do it at all. I kind of just wing my way through it, which I think is important that I project the confidence that I know exactly what I'm doing. When in reality, I'm like, how am I going to get through this? But
Perfect.
Yes, exactly. But usually it starts with an idea, and I say, that would be a really cool shot, or this would be a really cool storyline. Let's see if I can make it happen. So from there, we write out a storyline, a script, and we start asking people if they want to appear in it for free because we have no money. And then we pick days and we get together, we shoot it. I take it back to my editing studio and I try to piece it together. Try to piece my fumbling through the direction and the acting of the day together into something that people will hopefully enjoy. All right, the final blow.
Let's talk about content. Your first film. What was it about?
Our first feature film was a sort of in the horror genre. It was about a haunted restaurant, and we shot it primarily because our friends owned a restaurant, and
we love food, so you know.
we love food.
Perfect.
So food, ghosts, movies.
It's all about
just,
food,
It all
yeah.
just makes sense. So I think somebody said to you, you should use this building for a movie, and I said yes, we should make it a horror movie, and it kind of went from there.
And horror films are so popular, and it's not a bad, I guess, genre to break into with your first big feature film. You know?
Now, are all your films horror films, or have you branched out to other?
No, I mean, for some reason, maybe it's because I have something twisted in my head that it seems like what comes out is something darker. No, I always promised my mom that I would do a Hallmark movie, like a Hallmark Christmas movie, because we love those. They're trashy and wonderful. And but it seems like for the first three, they're kind of have a darker tone to them.
And he always says if he can think of the worst thing and put it on film, he won't do it in real life. So I think that's a good thing.
It won't happen to me. If I can think of the worst thing possible, maybe it won't happen to me.
There you go. Now, Victoria, what is your role in all of this?
Well, when I joined the company, I always call myself more the business end. You know, I break legs when people don't pay us or anything. No. Basically, I kind of field calls. I help with auditions, produce, make sure locations get set up. We hold auditions for actors and actresses, so a lot of times I'll be
love
involved
actors.
in that. And I'm also free talent because, unfortunately, when we can't cast a role, he throws me
Work
in
for
it.
cheap.
Yeah.
That's always good.
My hair
Is
is
that you?
Yeah. My hair is very short and blonde at that time. Two non-speaking characters, fantastic, right?
Is there any music, or is it just completely silent? Oh. So you've created a film. How do you get it out for everyone to see?
Well, it starts with film festivals, and that's sort of like the traditional way of doing it, is you research and send your film to film festivals that have a niche or some kind of opening for a movie like what you've produced. You know, the classics are always Sundance, which is like one of the biggest in the country,
Right.
Toronto Film Festival, and those are really big for movies that have like huge budgets and big name actors. For movies like ours, we tend to try for like the mid to smaller level film festivals to start getting some exposure for the film. And there are so many people out there that are making movies like we do because the technology is cheaper,
Right.
and the quality has gotten so much more intense and cinematics in the last 10 years. So it's like you just really have to make a good film, and then if you get lucky enough, you get invited to some of these festivals, and from there you might have some clout to contact a company and say, these are the festivals that have shown my film, would you be interested in looking at it and maybe putting it out there for distribution through whatever channels you have available.
And we did that with our latest film, Villainy for the Lonely. It's been on the film festival circuit, and now it's in the hands of the distribution company, who basically is like a Netflix, but for independent film. And right now, that's kind of the direction we're going.
And what's the storyline behind this film?
Ooh, I'll let you describe, because
I don't know.
We just
it's
turn the
bunch
camera
of,
on and
bunch
roll.
of guys that come together and they say lines and they shoot people. It's we call it it's a love triangle between a madman, a serial killer, and a ghost.
But not horror.
Not horror.
More
Not
crime
horror.
drama. There's
Yeah.
some comedy to it.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a movie without a genre.
Yeah.
It actually sounds like the beginning of a joke. When
Doesn't
you
it?
see
Yeah,
The
Exactly.
three characters. And they
And
all
some
walk
people-
into a bar. And
Yeah. Some people who've seen it have also said that this
Yes.
movie's a joke.
I've got to come clean. I've been watching you, and I think we're like kindred spirits. My name's True. You probably have heard of me by another name, The Trip.
The Trip. Where is he?
I'm in love with you, Chastity. You're my girl now.
Now I can die, 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 now I can die.
I will burn everything.
Now I can
But whatever.
feel
There's room for a new friend.
now I can
You.
die with a feeling. Now I can die.
And so how do you find your actors then? Because you obviously need a lot of them, right?
Yeah, and a lot of it comes from we know some people and we say, you've got some talent. You're a good liar, or you're a good. No, I'm kidding.
Spot 'em right off the bat.
Exactly, and say you should try your hand at acting. I think you could do really well with it. And other times we put out citywide, area-wide casting calls. We've gotten people asking us to cast them who live in as far away as the Carolinas, and I said I'd love to have you in our movie, but we can't pay you, and so at this point it probably wouldn't work unless you just did it on your own dime.
Eventually,
but-
we want to be able to pay everybody.
Yes.
We kind of finance these ourselves, and until we get to that point, which, it's stepping stones, you work
Right.
your way up. And
Yeah, our goal is for right now for no one else to have to pay anything but us, and then so in the future for our next movie, our goal would be to only we are funding it, but also we get to pay people to be in it as well, so
Right.
that everybody.
they probably want that too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're tired of me whipping
Definitely
them
a
with
goal.
with a
And
stick. And
the cool thing about Quincy is it is an arts community, and there's so much talent here.
Right.
There are people that have a job, And then after they get off work, they come and they're in our film. So
Right.
it's really cool to see how full of talent Quincy is. And,
Well,
and we have a family of actors now because of it.
Yeah, you have provided a few actors that we're going to talk to in a minute to kind of get their perspective on what it's like to do a production for you. But before we get to that, tell me, you're working on a new production now, is that right?
Yes, we are currently writing a new script for a feature that we're going to shoot in January of 2014. And we're in the development phases now, and I've been trying to show pieces of it to people to hopefully get some excitement geared up for it as far as, you know, new things that I want our actors to try. And we're just trying to piece it together and make it happen for that shoot.
Is there enough for us to give us a little bit about what the story is, or is that highly classified?
Absolutely, we can do that. It's sort of a Hitchcockian thriller. I've been watching a lot of Hitchcock this year, and I said, I just really want to do something, you know, cool like that. And so
No
it's
Hallmark yet, but
my mom is very disappointed. She said, son, when are you going to do something nice that I can show my
And sweet,
my
and
people?
happy
Yeah.
and warm.
And I said, soon, Mom. I just need to do 3 or 4 more awfully violent pictures. No, not really. There.
I'm so proud of you, son.
But it's about a photographer who gets mixed up with the wrong crowd, you know, the right situation at the wrong time, and has to deal with what an everyday person would go through when they get mixed up with some bad people. But we also have elements
lesson
of
movie.
Yeah, exactly. But we also have some cool elements since he's a photographer. You know, what are the differences? Like, how do people perceive pictures now? You know, are pictures believable now that you can
Right.
Photoshop them? That you can do all kinds of things. So we have some of that going on. But at the essence, it'll be a suspense thriller.
And the really nice thing is, again, because we have our family, as we call it, of actors, we know from past experience which role will suit them best. So, you know, a lot of times he does write parts according to our friends and, you know, our actors' personality.
Okay, you guys have been actors for Table 16 production. Kathleen, let's start with you. Tell me about some of the roles that you've played.
Well, in addition to a few ads for Table 16, my first major role, so to speak, was a medium-sized part in Villainy for the Lonely, where I was cast as an angst-filled, angry man-hater.
So, you want to play?
I'd rather not if that's okay with you, ma'am. See you later.
Wow, I'm just not seeing that at all.
Well, you know,
That's why it's acting, right?
it's acting, and it's always fun to pretend you're somebody else.
Okay. And how did you get this love for acting? Where did that come from?
Well, as I said, you know, I think it's fun to pretend you're somebody else. In high school, I dabbed in the drama there at high school level, but I always enjoyed it. And I think one day Chris Kelley and Victoria and I were talking, and he was telling me about the movie coming up, and you know, I said, oh, that might be fun to do, and so I auditioned, and he put me where he thought I needed to be.
And obviously it worked out.
I think it did.
Now, have you played other roles besides that as well?
Well, no, I haven't.
You have one upcoming,
I
right?
do,
In this
I do.
project that he's working on now. Can
Yes.
you enlighten us at all on
I
that?
hear that I'm a photographer.
Oh, you're the photographer. How
I
fun
am
that will
a
be.
photographer. I don't know if I'm the photographer, but I'm a photographer that works for a newspaper, I think.
Ah, all right. And were you also in the music video?
I was in the music video,
What did
which
you
was
do?
great fun.
Yeah.
I was cast as a woman walking down the street with a Leopard umbrella that Cheeks McGee, the sight of my umbrella sparks his memory of his lost love.
All right. Now, Jeff, you are a police officer by day,
That's true.
right?
And an actor by night.
And an actor by night. Tell me about how you got into acting.
Actually, it started when I was very young. I saw myself being on stage at first, and then I thought maybe movies someday. And so I started taking some acting classes, and which eventually led to actually going to college to study acting, and reality set in, and I dropped out of that and came back to Quincy, where good fortune, I guess, I fell into a job that I actually love, and it's got to me where I'm at now. So now I'm able to act on the side, I guess. So Chris found me for his project Villainy, and we hit it off.
So you were one of the men that she hated, is that correct?
I don't know if that really happened. Maybe it did. Our two characters didn't get along, that's for sure.
Oh, okay.
But Chris gave me a great part. I was actually like a rogue detective, so I kind of had some background there, and I was able to interject some of that experience into a couple of the scenes. There was an interrogation scene. You got to check it out. It's done really well, and it's a lot like a real interrogation.
Now,
I'm kidding.
oh, okay.
I do know you. You used to be a cop.
I let him get away. All those good men are dead.
You know, people like you made me what I am.
The production that's coming up, are you together on that one?
We're not sure yet.
Oh.
So we've seen a couple of pieces of the script. Chris has shared a couple of scenes with us to kind of give us some insight into our character, maybe,
Such a curiosity approach.
get us fired up for this next project. But so you'll have to wait and see, I guess.
What would be your, I'll ask both of you this question, but Jeff, for you first, what would be your dream role to play?
A dream role for me would be something that starts here and ends up going to a film festival, and people like it, and it takes us to the next level. Who knows?
Right, exactly. And Kathleen, what about for you? Do you have a character that you would love to play, or?
I enjoyed playing a villain. A villain very much. I've heard from professional actors doing Q&As, on TV, that it's more fun, in their opinion, to play a villain, and than the nice guy, because it's fun to be somebody you're probably not. And so I have to say that I had great fun with Villainy, and I find it a personal challenge to do whatever Chris Kelley writes for me.
Okay, restaurant owners and mom extraordinaire by day, but at night you are actors for Table 16. So tell me about some of the productions that you've been in, Michael.
Yes, well, the Kelleys found us at the first restaurant we had here in Quincy many years ago, and asked us to be in a commercial for a local boot company, boot repair shop, and that's kind of how it all began. We've been in a lot of things ever since. A few commercials, 2 feature lengths, some shorts.
Well, then of course the movie that involved the restaurant that he ran.
Right.
Now you were both in the very first feature film that they did, right?
Yes.
What were your roles?
I was Steve.
Heather.
We were
on a date.
We were on a date.
Oh yeah.
In a restaurant.
Did it end well?
It got a little iffy when people started dying.
I'd like to see a ghost.
But
We were the only ones who
it
survived.
ended up okay for us.
This is the horror movie
Yes,
too, right?
yes.
So that would have dying people in it.
Yeah.
All right, and what other productions have you been in?
There's also a short called The Quit, in which she had a legendary head nod.
Yeah.
Was that hard?
It was just a cameo. It wasn't anything big.
Did you have to practice for a
I
while?
was the bartender, and I just.
Yeah. And how about you? Were you in that as well?
Yeah. That was. I played an aspiring musician, working for somebody else that kills people, so there's still killing involved.
Go be a rock star.
Maybe just a musician.
Works for me.
What have been your favorite roles so far? Just all of it?
I
The head nod.
probably.
I really enjoyed Bob Smith, my character in Villainy for the Lonely. I didn't say much, but I had this creepy look on my face.
And you're good at creepy
most
look?
of it. I think I'm creepy looking most of the time.
Oh, with that half smile. Oh my gosh. Making the hair on my arm stand up. Oh.
Now, something different that you've done outside of the feature films is a music video, which to my knowledge, has never been produced in Quincy before. Would you say that's accurate?
I'm not sure if it's been, at least we haven't really known about many music videos that have been shot in Quincy.
It was our first one.
It was our first one. And Cheeks' first one.
Music videos can be like really out there, very different.
Yes.
What was the creation process in doing a music video?
Well, we first started with the music. We listened to Cheeks' song. Yes. A lot of times, some people might say, "I want to do the story, and let's throw the music underneath it." But we kind of let the music tell us what the video should be. And I didn't want to take an absolutely literal approach with the material, but in some cases, I kind of felt like what this lyric meant was something that I really had to focus on visually and bring that lyric to life with a visual.
Technique-wise, what's different about that kind of a production versus a movie?
No lines. Much less attention to audio, because people could be talking in the background. People could be doing whatever they want to do, as long as it doesn't distract the actors in the take.
Visual.
So for the most part, it was just like a movie, but more like an action scene where there was no attention to dialogue or audio. It was all about what was happening on camera.
Cheeks, you are our musician of the day as opposed to an actor, and you've got this music video which is really exciting, but let's start from the beginning with you and your music. How did you get into music?
I guess I came from a musical family. There's always, I guess my grandma had a piano, and we always had a piano, and I remember going to church and hearing my grandma sing, and that was kind of always in my head, and my mom sang as well, and my dad played instruments, and my grandpa's, and so I was always really interested in music, and then I kind of picked up the trumpet one day and thought that was something interesting, and I started playing around 8, I believe, and I puffed my cheeks out, of course. And,
hence the name.
Hence the name, and a jazz trumpeter, Dizzy Gillespie, was the first guy I saw, and he puffed his cheeks out, and that's kind of where I thought that's how you played. It's actually the incorrect way. And
just like to point that out.
Yeah, my director, I guess, just kind of said, "Hey, put those cheeks back in their cheeks," and it kind of caught on, and so the name kind of caught on, and everyone in high school started calling me that, and I went on to college, and then I started teaching, and then I thought I needed a stage name that people would remember, so I went with Cheeks McGee, and that's kind of where we are with that.
Now, your music today is primarily what genre?
I would say acoustic rock, original. I do mostly originals. I throw in some cover stuff once in a while just to get the crowd listening, but when I play live, it's mostly all originals. I like to write a lot, and but yeah, I would say acoustic rock.
Do you find that there's a topic that you kind of lean toward most of the time to write about, or is it a lot
I would say, yeah. It's funny. I would say love is always in there, and I don't
makes
know
for a good song most
I guess
of the
so.
time.
You hear the radio hits, and they're always about that, and that's something people can relate to. Everybody's looking for love or lost love or something. So that's kind of a general thing that most people will kind of catch their.
Where do you perform for the most part?
Well, when I'm teaching, I got to stay around the area. So pretty much wineries, bars around town, things like that. But then during the summers, I take off and do like nationwide tours and kind of promote my music that way. I've been on, I think, five or six nationwide tours going from coast to coast. Like this summer, since the video came out, that's got a lot of excitement here, so I've stayed around the area, and I'm only doing a couple weeks out east and a couple weeks out west.
Let's talk about the video. What does that do for your career?
It just adds another element to things I have. I mean, I have music out there, I have the website, and I just want something else to kind of spark some interest and get some excitement going. And like I've never done one, so that was kind of cool to collaborate with the Kelleys and Table 16, and I mean, they were fantastic to work with. They had a great vision, and we kind of just talked about it, and I was like, yes, that would be perfect. That would be a fun idea, and it seemed to be going over really well right now.
How did you decide which song to use and where to shoot it and all those things?
Chris actually got a hold of me about that, and I've released a couple other songs as a single on the album that we chose from, but that was kind of the name. The Leopard Curtains Lime Green Wall is the name of the album. It's kind of a, not really a hidden track, but I think people might look over it a little bit because it's generally not the type of stuff that I do. It's got a different feel to it, and I kind of just said, hey, I'm up for whatever song you want, Chris, and you guys listen what song sticks out to you guys. And him and Victoria both came up with that song, and I was like, well, let's do it. And that's kind of how we stuck with that song.
And how did you decide what the video would look like? I mean, obviously that was partly your vision as well.
Yeah, basically we took pretty much what the song was about. I mean, it was about heartbreak. It was about moving on after a relationship. And so we kind of had those things, and it's also about the good times in the relationship, and kind of looking back on those things, and a memory that sparks, and what happens, and thinking and moving on and stuff like that. So we kind of really went for what the lyrics were trying to, or I guess what I was trying to get through the lyrics, I guess, and put it onto a video.
Have you been surprised about the popularity or the results that you've seen since the video has?
Yeah, actually, it started with the night we released it. We had it on a Tuesday night, the viewing, and I chose not to see it early, so we had a bunch of people, we invited a bunch of people, and the turnout for that was amazing. And that meant the world to me, just having all those people there that were supportive of it and supportive of what the Kellys were doing.
Where do you go from here with your music?
Actually, I've started writing a new album. Hopefully, I'll be putting that out in the fall, or at least recording it in the fall. Let's see. I would say the fall is when we'll have the new album. So basically, I want to start doing that one, promoting that. We've talked. People have already asked us, "Are you going to do a music video for that album?" I don't know. I would love to do more, but I know the Kellys and Table 16 are pretty busy, and so if that opportunity comes again, I would love to do it.
You say something?
No.
Do you know that girl?
Never seen her before in my life.
That's all we have time for on this edition of State of the Arts. We hope you've enjoyed learning more about the art of filmmaking. We'd like to thank Chris and Victoria Kelley of Table 16 Productions, along with their actors, and of course Cheeks McGee for sharing their stories with us. And who knows, maybe we've inspired the film director in you. Until next time, thanks for watching State of the Arts. This program is partially supported by a grant from the Illinois Arts Council Agency, a state agency. The National Endowment for the Arts. By the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. And by viewers like you. Thank you.